Oh,
I don't really know how to start any of this nonsense. Oh,
no, there we
okay,
go.
there we go.
Always
Back.
does that. Start recording on this.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of thought. Anyways, I don't know how to ever start any of this nonsense, but obviously we're on a little bit of a time crunch, so let's just get right into it with the rookies, the skill position rookies of the 2020 class.
Who's gonna make a difference to you? Who are the guys? You know, like let's break it down.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Um, so for the wide receivers, we're gonna do who we think best comps the 2020 rookie class to the 2019 rookie class. So to start off with, who do you think is going to be like the Terry McLaurin of this year? Who's just going to, instantly insert themselves as the 1A or the 1 and just hit the ground running type of thing?
I mean, for me, it's kind of one clear answer, and it's my boy from Las Vegas. It's Henry Ruggs, dude. For me, it's Ruggs. I mean, look, you're coming in with a speedster on the outside. They need him there, okay? You got Josh Jacobs. You got what? Tyro Williams. Like, no, okay? He's been backup his whole life. We tried to have his wide receiver 1 last year. It didn't work. We had Hunter Renfrow coming out of the slot. I'm telling you, Ruggs, he's gonna be our wide receiver 1 going out there. All right, it's gonna go great.
So I was worried. I guess I should have saved this question for a little bit longer because I think the thing that we are going to most disagree on by far is going to be Henry Ruggs III.
Yeah.
My Terry McLaurin comp is going to be Jalen Reagor. I think if no one is there, if no one's ready, then he can instantly become an asset for, someone that we all can like. Most of us consider to be a good quarterback who is not being treated like he's a good quarterback in Carson Wentz. I think there's a very real chance, given Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey's injury history, and just uh, I keep wanting to say Hassan Whiteside. That's not his name at all. Who's the guy they drafted last year?
Like it's like Arcega Whiteside.
Arcega Whiteside, yeah. Exactly. Greg Ward's not going to be any competition. So if Alshon or Djax aren't ready, I have fair warning. A lot of my answers are these are going to be Jalen Reagor, just because I like the opportunity. I don't necessarily know if I'm in love with Jalen Reagor, but I just think
I think that's
good field stretcher on a team that absolutely needs it. I think he's got a real shot.
No, yeah, I completely agree with you there. I think he's definitely in the best position to make the most of it. I'm just not sold on him being able to make the most of it, is the thing. Yep. I mean, he's a little bit undersized, and then the whole thing is like he didn't have a great 40 time. People look down on that. I don't know. I'm just not sold on him from that standpoint, then, is the reason for me.
Okay. Okay, so the next one we have is DK Metcalf. The description I gave here is more of a traditional transition. Who's gonna start off at with like a 20% snap count and slowly but surely make their way to like a 2, maybe a 1B, or from a 2 to a 1B, maybe a 1A.
So I really, really want to say Brandon Ayuk. I think he's going to start off low, but I think given really the surrounding cast that's there, we know a couple guys are on the outs with Shanahan over there. I could see him making a push if he plays well and ending up at the top there.
Sure.
Because Debo's in his second year, it's not like he's got the job super locked down. I think Ayuk's got a great chance to move there.
Yeah, no, I like that answer. I mean, so I'll just spoil it. I think Ayuk's going to be my AJ Brown of this year. I think they're going to just not necessarily cast Debo away, but I think they're all of the shit that they did for Debo last year. I think they're going to do for Ayuk this year. And I don't think he'll have the same success as AJ Brown, but I think it'll be pretty easy to make him, a level above Debo. But who do I think can split and still be productive and have another productive wide receiver on the team? I think Jerry Jeudy is pretty much the most clear answer for this, right? I think there are a lot of similarities between Tyler Lockett and Courtland Sutton in terms of, catch rate and not needing like a big target share and anything like that. And, I think both, like, not a lot of people comp to DK Metcalf physically, but Judy's not far off. And I think he could be kind of more of a possession receiver, a lot of target ball hog type of deal. And I think that if Drew Lock is up to snuff, that could be. I'm excited for that wide receiver core. I'm dangerously high on Courtland Sutton. And Tyler Lockett for what it's worth. I think those guys are both just freaks.
I remember your love for Tyler Lockett. You were espousing last. Don't worry.
Nothing has changed, by the way. I don't care what anyone's argument for DK Metcalf is. I just think Tyler Lockett's just gonna catch the stupidest, most ridiculous balls, and have just the second best catch rate in the entire fucking NFL behind Michael Thomas, which is what he's done every single year. So
yeah, he's done me good, that's for sure. Oh, that sucks.
What did Asia break? Asia, what'd you break?
She broke everything. No, what's the brand called?
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. One of her classmates from undergrad just moved back to New York, and so she didn't. Oh yeah, grad, not undergrad. And so she didn't cancel her HelloFresh subscription, I guess. So she's like, "Hey, you guys can have it." And I'm like,
nice.
Food, sure thing, don't mind.
Yeah, no, I love those meal subscription stuff. Sponsored? I'm kidding.
Woo! Hey, shout out already. That's fast.
This is only for 2 weeks.
Damn.
But
Jerry Jeudy. I mean, I think he's gonna be super valuable in PPR just because he's gonna be a possession receiver. He's gonna be hitting, I think, at the deepest 12 routes and under. I think he's gonna be hitting most of the time there because he is that best route runner. He can lose those guys on turns, corners, quick stuff like that, and I think that's gonna be hugely helpful for having Drew Lock do that with Courtland Sutton taking the post or corner or deep route or something. You have Jerry Jeudy right there just to.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for that. I think everyone's excited for that offense. Yeah. After the draft, I think they clearly made the most moves. Unless you count, DeAndre Hopkins as a draft move.
I mean, for the Texans it was because they don't know how to keep their picks. It seems.
Right. True. Anyways, but yeah, no. So I'm pretty excited for that. I mean, the only question is Drew Lock any good, right? And five games, and he was 3-2 or 4-1. What was he? I don't remember.
I think he ended up 4-1.
Yeah, which is crazy. But
I see at worst, honestly, he could be what a Jimmy Garoppolo, even honestly,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, at worst, he could turn into Blake Bortles, but not the boat. But
right.
But he seems like a very capable game manager. He might not be the one to clutch it every time, but he certainly can do enough. And they've improved their defense to the point where I think they can have nice stuff there. I mean, adding Jarrell Casey. We're getting off topic here, but adding Jarrell Casey for a 7th round pick. I mean, that's amazing. That guy's a guy. Along with Paulie. Shout out to that.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. The AFC West, just in general,
I'm scared.
I'm scared. No, it's I do not envy your Las Vegas Raiders because I think in any other division they have the run that they had last season and they make a push for playoffs. But even with the Chargers being terrible, right? They still they still ran it close with Kansas City, they still have insane pieces. But anyways, I'm glad we're both excited about Jeudy. But who do we think is going to be like the absolute zero to hero, pick up off waiver wires and suddenly becomes like a number 3 wide receiver? Who do we think is going to be the AJ Brown of this season?
That is a rough question there, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to answer because like no one can predict that. But
Yeah, I've got 2 in mind personally, and I want to hear your takes on them. And the one I'm going to say first, I'm slightly lower on purely because of the division he plays in, and it's Denzel Mims with the Jets. Purely because it's Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore 4 times in the season. And, I mean, they're just lockdown guys. Having said that, Justin Jefferson. I think Kirk Cousins, I think you got him there. You got Theon on the outside. You got Irv Smith or someone in the middle there. Like, I could see Justin Jefferson have himself a nice breakout campaign.
I'm worried. I'm just worried about the target. I'm worried about the target share. I'm really excited for Justin Jefferson and that opportunity. Same with Denzel Mims and Asia. Also excited for Asia this year in the NFL 2020.
She might push her playoffs this year. You never know.
Who knows, man?
She's a little Heisman right there behind the screen.
But I like those. I like those 2 picks a lot. I think Mims. I almost want to give Mims a little bit more credit than that. Maybe he's more like the Terry McLaurin. Of course I forgot. I thought about it and then totally forgot to mention it. But maybe he's more like the Terry McLaurin thing, where it's just if he's competing with targets with Rashad Perryman and Denzel Mims and Jamison Crowder. Yeah. And this O-line is not miserable. Maybe he's got it. And Sam Darnold is, kind of the prospect that people were expecting him to be.
You hate with mono.
Maybe he's a chance, just right, exactly, all that stuff. Maybe he's got a chance to just be a deep threat, get open, and not have anybody be expecting it, and just kind of find his way to production right from the get-go. But I think it's just as likely that he becomes a second half star, right? That's pretty much what we're saying is he could break out. We just don't know if it's going to be first half or second half. But clearly the opportunity is there for him to show up. That's the division that you're talking about, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I forgot the Bills added Josh Norman too. I mean, he played great back when he was with McDermott, so we'll see. He turned down after his 1 season, but we'll see. Maybe you can bring him back to glory as a slot.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. But yeah, obviously insane secondaries all throughout the AFC East.
Dolphins, I always forget about them because they're just great.
No, that's why I was just obviously Stephon Gilmore and the Bills are obviously who's their kid? I forget who's their guy.
Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, he's insane. But so I was obviously those, and I was oh fuck, Xavier Howard and Byron Jones are on the same fucking team. Shit, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's also crazy because I don't know. I guess that makes me scared for Stephon Diggs. But who's in
the AFC East? Okay, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Parker, Julian Pedelman. So that's literally it.
Right. Yeah. What wide receivers am I scared for? I didn't care about Devontae Parker or Jules anyways. Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So that's interesting to think of actually. I'm worried about a Kubiak offense for Justin Jefferson. I think they're just going to be so run heavy. I think they're going to, I think there's a chance that they use Alexander Madison more. I think there's a chance that they use 2 tight end sets more with Kyle Rudolph and Smith. I worry about there just not being a target share there. That said, I guess this question isn't on this list, but if any one receiver were to get hurt, anyone before them in the depth chart of all of these guys, I think Justin Jefferson clearly has the best opportunity.
Oh yeah.
I think if Thielen pulls another hamstring or something and Jefferson's forced into that one role, I think he'll be great. I think he'd be such a stud, and I'm clearly, I'm like maybe the most excited for him moving forward. But so my answer for this question is Brandon Ayuk. I think there's a decent chance. I think there's a decent chance that Shanahan, much like McVay before him, has to, go kind of counter meta and starts throwing it a little bit more. And I think that Garoppolo has that capability. And I think that either both him and Deebo Samuel just kind of like emerge. But if I really had to bet on one of them after a certain point, sorry, I'm like trying to get something out of my pocket and it's not happening.
No worries.
My keys were just like stabbing me, and I was like, but I think if it's really like a one or the other type of thing, they were the most excited about Brandon Ayuk. They came out and said that he was number one on their board. He's a great yards after catch guy. I think that they can and will utilize him really well, and I'm very excited for that landing spot. But obviously, right now, there's no way I can say that like a passing offense as small as that one with George Kittle on it, has like any chance of being relevant. But I think if anyone can go from absolute zero to hero, I think he's got a real shot. I think I had another one for that one, but I don't even remember what it is anymore. So, moving on. So who's the comp to Hollywood Brown? Who are we excited for their landing spot and prospect, but just has a chance of not getting it done this year? I think
you're gonna hate me. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. No, I think that's totally fine.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously, like, I love Lamb, but I don't even know. Like, I'm wondering if that even counts because, like, there's just so much. There's so much going on in that offense. I'm a little higher on Lamb than most people, but I still think it's just not. I think technically I might be lower on Lamb than most people, but like, I think he's going to have a fine role carved out for himself. I'm not as worried about the target share as everybody else.
Okay.
I think there's going to be plenty of passing, plenty of volume, plenty of downfield targets. Randall Cobb was like almost an effective dude on this team at 48. Like his first year with the team. And he's Randall fucking Cobb. Like, I think that CeeDee Lamb can take that type of workload and do more with it. And I actually looked this up because I was a little bit curious. Cobb had 800 yards and 5 touchdowns. Do you think CeeDee Lamb has more or less than that?
He's gonna have less yards, more touchdowns.
Okay, I can see that. I think it's more of both, but I think not by a ton. Like, I don't think he breaks 1,000. There's no way he breaks 1,000 yards in this year, right? Yeah. But I think he can be over that amount. But I think he can take a similar role, a similar target share, and Cooper can still be as effective as he was. Gallup can still be as effective as he was. And Lamb can do something with it. Yeah. I don't think it's good for fantasy, right? Yeah. I don't think any of it is good for fantasy.
I totally forgot. What's their names? Gallup and Cooper both missed games last year too. I kind of forgot about it. They both missed multiple games.
Yeah. I think Gallup missed multiple. Yeah, he missed.
He missed because he had his ankle or something. He went down. It's like people were dropping him back and forth because they're like, "Oh, he's down for a while." And it's like I think he ended up like missing 5 weeks total. It was like a 3 and a 2 or something like that. Yeah,
maybe. By the way, so. Really, what I'm trying to say with all this is my feelings about Michael Gallup are unchanged. I think that Lamb can carve himself out a role, and Gallup can like still do what Michael Gallup did last year completely.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to be the one to draft Michael Gallup in our league this year. Like, I think I'm going to be 2 rounds more excited for him than everybody else.
We'll take the 8th instead of the 10th or something like that?
Yeah, no, like actually, like I mean, I was thinking more like 7th or like 6th to be honest. Like I'm pretty excited for him. But we'll see. Um, I could take him in 7th, probably not 6th. Anyways, so I thought you were going to say Jalen Rager,
Yeah,
and what you have.
it's the thing is he does have so much opportunity is the thing. Carson Wentz can get it. I mean, Carson Wentz can get it done with Nelson Aguilar for crying out loud, which
Right.
is a mission and a half in itself. And now he's at the Raiders, and I'm not thrilled by that, but whatever. But I don't dislike Jalen Rager in his position. I just think there's stronger people out there, so I'm not willing to knock him down to this stat. I think T. Higgins maybe could be one, but AJ Green has to stay healthy for that, and so I'm not sold on that either. So that's why I really want to CD Lamb there, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I think that's probably the best answer. But I'm not here to talk about best answers. Henry Ruggs is not going to be fantasy relevant this season.
You're wrong.
I just don't. So we have different opinions of Derek Carr. That's really all it is.
We do.
I think Ruggs can do. I think Ruggs is going to do some stuff after the catch, and he's going to have some like not full on Tyreek Hill jet sweep type of stuff, but crap like that where it's like a dink and dunk that all of a sudden becomes like a huge run. But there's no way you can bank on that, and I don't think he's going to be getting enough deep balls, especially with Hunter Renfrow is like a thing. Like I'm excited for Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller is going to have a lot of red zone opportunities again, and or not again necessarily, but I assume that that's going to be increased for him, and he was a tight end that got 1,100 receiving yards last season. I think obviously some of that's going to go to Ruggs, but they're very different players, and yeah, so I think the best comp to, or I think the player that played most similar to like the role that Ruggs is going to adopt is Tyrell Williams, and I'm not even necessarily sure that Tyrell Williams was doing Tyrell Williams' role last year, right? Like he all of a sudden became kind of this like one guy, but then as soon as Renfrow became relevant, and as soon as right from the beginning of the season, and with Waller becoming relevant, they kind of they went away from that as quickly as they could, and I don't necessarily think that that's going to change when Ruggs is the guy. I think they're going to have a lot of stuff going in the slot, and I think that's not going to be necessarily his place.
Yeah.
But I'm very intentionally trying to keep it a little controversial because I think people were more excited about Marquise Brown's landing spot than we are about CeeDee Lamb, right? And I think we don't think that the talent isn't there, but I'm very intentionally trying to pick someone who people are high on that I'm not. But
fair.
I don't think Ruggs is bad. I just think it's a compatibility issue. I think both Carr and Mariota are not the best deep ball passers. I think for different reasons. Carr is accurate enough. He just doesn't do it very often. And Mariota is kind of the opposite, right? Where he's not an accurate deep like down the field passer. No matter how hard he wants to be, Okay, so the next on our list is N'Keal Harry / Paris Campbell, who is going to be drafted in our league that will not see any relevant playing time at all.
So playing time or just relevance in our league? I'm gonna go Laviska Shenault.
Shenault, okay.
I could see that being a Luke or a Nick pick, honestly.
I can definitely see Luke picking. I could pick Shenault for what it's worth. I think that's a possibility. I'm pretty high on Chenault, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think if there weren't better options for the Terry McLaurin comp, I think I would have. I think I could have said it. You know, I think that there's a possibility that he just comes in and Minshew threw a shit ton of the slot, and Chark is not really a slot guy. D.D. Westbrook had however many receptions that he had, and D.D. Westbrook ain't very good. I think Chenault can come in and take on that load, kind of take on the touchdown, the red zone targets. I'm a little excited about Chenault. But I could see it. I could see, me, Nick, Luke being, outsmarting ourselves and drafting the second guy on the Jacksonville offense. Yeah, that makes total sense to me, actually, now that I'm saying it out loud. That's probably not a guy you want very, very often. I think this could be the Van Jefferson pick, potentially.
Okay.
Van Jefferson or Justin Jefferson, to be honest. I think actually no, let's go with Justin Jefferson. Because I don't think Van Jefferson will get drafted in enough leagues, but I think Justin Jefferson, people are gonna be like, Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore. They got a new OC, even though they really don't. But I think that there's Adam Thielen could get hurt. I think someone can talk themselves into Justin Jefferson, and yeah, I don't think it happens without Thielen getting hurt.
That's fair.
So I think that is probably which is a bummer for me to say, because I like that was on draft day, or day 2 or whatever it was. Like that was the pick that I got most excited about, to be honest. That was the situation I wanted most for somebody to have, and I was like, I'm down. But I just think they're gonna be so run heavy. The one thing is that their defense isn't gonna be as good. So maybe they're a little more pass heavy scripts. But I also think their division isn't very good at all with
with Mitch Trubisky in that division.
Right, exactly. Yes, this is what I'm getting at. Is
Nick Foles now too, dude? Come on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, exactly my point. And they're somehow going to auto win against the Lions because it's the Lions.
Who could have beat the Chiefs, and then they just screw themselves out of it. Basically, it's like they Lions it up. Detroit got Detroit.
Exactly. I know this is way off tangent, but I recently watched all of the you've seen the Gridiron Heights stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
I recently watched all of this season, like all the stuff from this NFL season, and like the Matt Stafford Joker stuff is really good.
Ron told me to retire early, like all the Lions greats. It hurts.
Yeah.
I wish Calvin would have kept playing longer.
Yeah.
What a guy. He's been out of the league for 5 years now. Wow.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like that long. But it is.
Yeah. No, it's too sad to continue talking about. So let's move on.
Fair enough.
So who do we think is going to be the Preston Williams? This is a little bit of a stretch because Devontae Parker. It's not like Devontae Parker was like the guy.
Yeah.
Prior to this season, but you look at the splits with and without Preston Williams in the lineup, and obviously Devontae Parker had a huge second half of the season, which could conceivably be, because Preston Williams tore his ACL. So who do we think is going to take someone who we see as a wide receiver 1 caliber player and demote them, essentially make them a wide receiver 2 or worse, but not actually have anything besides streaming value on their own, right?
I want to go for the hot take of Jerry Jeudy taking down Cortland Sutton, taking down a wide receiver 2, honestly, and then them both just being easy wide receiver 2s each. But I feel like Drew Lock, having been so new in the league still, I don't know if he'd be spreading the target share as much or something like that. So That'd be fun. But Michael Pittman, I feel, is kind of like the easy pick there, taking down
Okay.
T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good pick. This is actually where I had Denzel Mims. I forgot. I just where I was going to put him, just because I'm not sold on the Jets offense. And like I don't know, it's hard to make the justification of Jamison Crowder as a wide receiver one type of deal, but like I think he can clearly be. I think he's clearly a number 2, at least at the beginning of the season. Because Mims has still got to figure out his role and everything. But I think that there's a chance that like both of them by the end of the season are just kind of like streaming options, kind of similar to last year with Crowder and Anderson. Which I guess is more of a diss on Sam Darnold than anything else. But I could see Pittman. Frank Reich was excited about him. And who knows with T.Y., man. Maybe that's the sleeper that we're not thinking of. Maybe that's when, because it's not a question of if T.Y. Hilton gets hurt. It's a question of when T.Y. Hilton gets hurt.
Yeah.
If he's better than Zach Pascal or Paris Campbell, maybe Pittman is the guy, right? Maybe he just comes in and gets all those juicy Philly Rivers targets. What a world we live in, by the way, where Philip Rivers is an Indianapolis Colt and Tom Brady is a Buccaneer.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. None of this makes any sense. I'm like, nothing is safe now, right? Like Rodgers is going to finish his career in like fucking Oakland. Yeah, exactly.
He won't though, because they're not there anymore. Las Vegas.
True. Good point. Yeah, I guess it's quite impossible for him to finish his career in Oakland. Are there any other guys that we want to talk about in terms of wide receivers?
I do have one.
Okay, go for
it. Lynn Bowden. Okay.
Yeah.
Does he at all reach fantasy relevance this year, considering he can play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and they're going to list him as a wide receiver?
So that's what I was going to ask. I don't know. So they're listing him as a wide receiver. That's good to know, I guess. I guess it doesn't super matter for our league right now because it's 2 wide receiver, 2 running back. I guess it matters some, but no. No is my answer to your question. I'm not sold on Vegas's offense enough.
Okay.
He's an interesting specimen, and I think kind of similar to the NBA draft, starting 5 years ago type of thing. I think there's more of a transition to like, NFL guys, right? We just want like these specimens who can kind of, Brandon Ayuk is a good example of that. Lynn Bowden's clearly the best example in this class for it. There's someone else I'm forgetting. Did Green Bay draft somebody besides AJ Dillon? I kind of remember there being like a wide receiver / RB.
Oh, we got Darryl Stewart Jr.
That was not who I was thinking of. Anyways, but kind of more of that. Like Deebo Samuel last year is a good example of that, right? Like guys who can do, and obviously like, if we really want to be having this conversation, Christian McCaffrey, right? Guys who can kind of do it all and just have the build to like slide enough to be able to run routes, but stocky enough to run between tackles. I think there's more of like those types of hybrid project guys coming into the league without those clear roles, which I think is interesting. But I don't necessarily think that there's use for that quite yet, and specifically not with John Gruden. but I don't know. I'm down for Lynn Bowden to become the guy, or become relevant. Now I actually am pretty high on both Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller.
Yeah.
So I think we just see the offenses. Oh, and by the way, I like literally Josh Jacobs might be my number 7 running back, like after Kamara. Just by the way, I think he could totally be a first rounder. I'm pretty excited. So I just think that we foresee the offenses kind of going in 2 different directions. If you're on the Henry Ruggs, Lynn Bowden side of it, and I'm on the Hunter Renfro, Josh Jacobs side of it,
Yeah.
But okay, so that's I don't know. I'm not excited for Van Jefferson.
Yeah.
I am excited for Justin Jefferson. Just maybe not this season. But obviously, as Adam Thielen gets older and Justin Jefferson's competition becomes Agumbawale, right? Or is that who's there?
Who?
No, I said Agumbawale, but that's not at all who I'm thinking of. That's Tampa. Who's Obi Johnson, right? Like if that becomes the only competition for Justin Jefferson in 2021, like that's great, right? But yeah, I don't know. I think that was pretty comprehensive of all the wide receivers. So let's move on to running backs.
Ooh, brother.
And yeah, so this first question is a doozy. I just want to kind of get it out of the way that I have a little bit of a hot take on this.
No.
Who do you think will finish as like of the rookie RBs, like rookie RB1? Who's going to end up with the most fantasy points by the end of the season?
I know you got your other opinion on it, but I'm still sticking with him. Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he's just got that opportunity there. I can easily see him beating out Shady and Damian Williams, honestly.
Is Shady still on the team? I don't think Shady's still on the team.
Is he not? I thought he was still on the team.
I think he got cut.
Hey, well, you know what? Good for them then.
Yeah. I'd like maybe I'm wrong. I could be full of shit. But my understanding was that he was gone. But yeah. Okay. So obviously Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. Are you looking it up too? We don't have to both be looking.
Oh, I absolutely am. Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, he's a free agent. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just didn't get signed again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I said cut. I meant that. That he was on a 1-year deal and it's over. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're probably right. Is the real answer. So obviously the question I asked is most yards / rushing / receiving / points. And so is he going to have the most? Obviously, he's going to have the most receiving yards. Like, there's just no 2 ways about it. There's no true pass catcher third down guy who's gonna take over more than Helaire. In fact, if Edwards-Helaire were in a slightly different situation, he probably would still if he was just a third down guy, he probably would still have the most receiving work of all of the backs, right? If somewhere else were in the Kansas City situation, probably them and Edwards-Helaire would be the guys competing for most receiving yards by the end of the season. So the fact that that's the same dude is insane. So yes, probably he's going to end up. He's probably the only. He's got the clearest path by far.
Yeah.
But do you think he's also going to end up with the most rushing yards?
Yes, is my short answer. Yeah, that's my short answer. Is yes.
Okay. So, but basically, what you're saying is you don't think any of the guys behind their current predecessor are going to catch up to him, right? Because obviously Edwards-Helaire is going to, right?
think it's gonna be at least in the last like third of the season at best, honestly.
Right. Oh, at best. Okay, interesting.
I think the only person who has a chance to do other than that is DeAndre Swift, purely because Kerryon Johnson is gonna hurt his knee or ankle again within week 3 and just gonna miss the rest of the season.
Crazy. I was so ready for you to say Jonathan Taylor that I started nodding like ahead of time. Because that's my answer for this. I think that they are not that excited about Marlon Mack. And I think that freaking O-line is so good that they're going to make massive holes for this massive man to just run through. And just
I hope so.
People over.
I would love Jonathan.
So I think you're correct. Yeah. I mean, everyone did, right? He was like what's more upsetting, CeeDee Lamb going to Dallas or Jonathan Taylor going to Indianapolis, right? Like those are both like such anticlimactic landing spots for like most people. I would say most people's like most 2 favorite like prospects coming into this draft, right? But so yeah, I think you're right in saying that it's Edwards-Helaire. But I am most excited for Jonathan Taylor, and I think that there is a chance. I think there's a good chance that he, becomes the guy first third of the season, has all of the obviously not the passing down stuff. That's going to be Nyheim Hines, but I think he's going to get plenty of passes just from Phillip Rivers and his style. Anyways, I honestly think that that's what will do Marlon Mack in, is he has not been a great pass catcher, and then he had surgery on his hand. And I think that there's going to be a bunch of like weird dink and dunk situations that he's not going to be ready for, and they're going to say, fuck this, put in the kid. And I think the moment that they make the switch and put Jonathan Taylor in, I think from that moment on, there's kind of no question that he's going to be, either like 1 or 2 of the best rookies in the league. And I'm banking on it being soon enough that he surpasses Edwards-Helaire's numbers. But you're probably right that it's Edwards-Helaire. So our next question is, if the person in front of them on the depth chart were to just vanish, like injury, sex scandal, coronavirus, they're gone. Who benefits the most from the guy in front of them just not being there anymore?
I mean, we were just talking about him. That's the answer. It's Jonathan Taylor.
You think?
Absolutely. Okay. If Marlon Mack does not exist, you have Quentin Nelson, Anthony Costanzo just on the left side of that line, and they can go through anybody in the entire AFC South. And the AFC South has got some great pass rushers down there. Additionally, you can catch, like you said. I would love for it to be, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but I don't know, man. I just see, hey, look, I'm Phillip Rivers, and oh man, yep, here you go, ball. Let's go on now, because I'm throwing an interception in 3 plays. We don't run it here, so Jonathan Taylor, man. Like, I love the guy. I think they're still committed to Marlon Mack for the year, is why I'm not higher on him.
Okay. Would you believe if I said that Jonathan Taylor is not my answer to this question?
I'm surprised by that, but I would hear you say anybody other than J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is the answer. I'm very excited for Baltimore's offense to kind of continue what they were doing. Maybe a little bit more passing, maybe a little bit rushing from Lamar Jackson, maybe a little bit more rushing opportunities for the running backs. And I don't see it being a committee, right? I think it's going to be Mark Ingram until Mark Ingram runs himself into the ground and gets tired, because he's oldish. I think he's going to just keep going because he's a beast. But I think if Mark Ingram just were not there, J.K. Dobbins would have a huge opportunity. The only thing that I'm worried about there would be Justice Hill, who, probably everyone was saying this stuff about last year and then did nothing. But I feel like if they could have used him, they would have by now, because last year it was still like Gus Edwards getting carries even after what was it? Mark Ingram's calves, or like he strained his calf or something, right? Yeah, like, but even after that point, they still didn't use Justice Hill. So I just think that he's not the talent that they drafted. So I think if Mark Ingram breaks his ankle, first play of the season, obviously it would be terrible. I'm not wishing that, but it would be pretty sweet for J.K. Dobbins. So our next question is who is most likely to usurp their predecessor, have a higher volume of, but maybe it's like a 50, maybe it's a 60-40 split, maybe it's a 55-45 split, maybe it's just like equal. Who do we think is most likely to do that, or if you think several people, like, who do you think does it first?
Well, because Anthony McFarland Jr., man.
Wow.
He's taken over James Conner. I don't think James Conner's going to be last round over there. I don't see the other guys they got. I don't think Benny Snell is going to be taking that stuff. I can see him outpacing it and being the guy they need there.
So do you think that there's going to be a committee or a split, or do you think he's just going to be like the guy?
I think he'll work his way into a committee, and then because they usually don't run a committee as their thing, he'll work into it, and then I think Tomlin's going to see that and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to give it to him. I think James Conner I think he's going to hurt, honestly, probably about week 6, and at least. And so with that in mind, I think McFarland's going to find his way through to it. Because James Conner also just wasn't that successful last year either, is the other thing. Had the same O-line. They just lost their receiver and AB, which had everyone collapse down, and he just couldn't produce as well there. And I think that means they're going to open up another chance for McFarland as well.
Interesting. That is not the answer that this one's, I was just like, yeah, it's going to be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, he's probably going to start the season, with close to a 50-50. But I think ultimately, honestly, the reason why I'm not, like, super duper excited about Edwards-Helaire is I think that there is a chance that they are committee from, like, the whole way through, right? Yeah. I think that there's a chance that they kind of run the same bullshit they did last year, and Damian Williams is kind of too good to ignore, and pesky enough where they have close to a 50-50 split. I think Helaire will, definitely have the higher load of it, but it could be a situation like last year, right, where LaShawn McCoy had more carries when they were both healthy, but Damian Williams was the producer because he ran routes, like he got the passes, and he scored touchdowns that way. Now I think unfortunately, I love Shady, don't get me wrong, but I think Shady at this time of his career, or Edwards-Helaire who will succeed, obviously I think Helaire has a higher chance to do more with that.
Yeah.
But I think that is, my answer for who gets committed first. And I think that there's a chance that DeAndre Swift is also part of the committee the entire season.
I could totally buy into that, yeah.
I think that would be the smart thing for the Lions to do. So maybe they don't do it because they're the Lions. But I think they still want Kerryon to succeed.
Yeah.
And I think they want to give him every opportunity to do so, which could mean splitting carries like 10-10 apiece, like 12-8 apiece. I think that is a distinct possibility in that offense. So the next question, and they're kind of the same thing, and I kind of think you answered this one instead, but who do you think is most likely to become the team lead, the lead back first? So would you say that McFarland is both most likely to become part of the committee first and be the lead first?
Well, I did some thinking. I love McFarland's, but I think he's got a great chance for it there. But the more I think about the Keyshawn Vaughn down Tampa Bay, I think he can get a chance. If he succeeds in his chance, they're going to give it to him because Peyton Barber took forever to realize he was, good at football essentially last year. And I don't remember who the other guy was at this point, honestly.
Ronald Jones?
Yeah, Ronald Rojo. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's USC.
Also, Peyton Barber's not there anymore.
Seriously, what did I miss out on that?
He's in Washington, dude. Washington has 11 billion running backs.
Well, note to self: not picking anybody in Washington.
Yeah, no, I I really want to pick Darius Guice or 15th round. It's too frustrating. It's upsetting, to be honest. Because I think AB could be good value. I think Darius Guice could be high upside, and I think Bryce Love is somebody that they completely didn't use, didn't test, and the moment they used him was productive.
Yeah.
So that's the other team that I was thinking of that drafted some RB wide receiver mix. I'm going to answer this question and then I'll look it up because that's who I was thinking of and I need to know. But so I think I didn't even say it. I'll say it for the next one. Perfect. So I think this is my Jonathan Taylor answer, right? This is my argument for Jonathan Taylor being the number one. Is this happens sooner rather than later, right? I don't think that they do a commit. They do more of a committee. I don't think they use three heads, right? I don't think it's Mack and Taylor and Himes, right? I think it's Mack and Himes or I'm saying Hines. Hines. I think it's Mack and Hines, and then it's Taylor and Hines, and one of them will be obscurity at the beginning, and then one of them will be in obscurity at the end. I don't think, but yeah. So maybe it doesn't happen first. Maybe Keyshawn Vaughn happens first. I like that pick a lot for that type of situation. But yeah. So I'm just wishing that the answer is Jonathan Taylor. So I shall say Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
So who I like the McFarland pick though. I think I think your reasoning for that situation happening is pretty valid. I think that's a distinct possibility. I like that answer a lot actually. So who are we most worried about being a non-effective committee? A Eagles in years past situation, a Kansas City of last year's situation, right? Maybe someone's an RB2 out of that group, but mostly it's streamers, and you just always end up picking the wrong guy, et cetera, et cetera.
So I can already anticipate your reaction to this one.
No, I because the same answer.
I can guarantee we don't.
Never mind. You're saying Jonathan Taylor. I'm
not.
Oh, okay.
I think a non-effective committee is going to involve Joshua Kelly and Austin Eckler.
Okay.
Ineffective?
I think they're just not going to know how to use them both the right way. I think they know how to use Eckler great, but Kelly's a great downhill runner, and I think they're going to try to use them, but then they feel like, oh, we're going to give our stuff away there. I could see them succeeding in their own right if one of them's going to be a lead back. I don't see it well if they're each going to be trading off in downs 1, 2, 3, just back and forth between each other.
Interesting. Yeah, no. Maybe, but no. No. I kind of just refuse to accept it, especially with because I get it. Because especially with, you didn't even say it, but Justin Jackson's also there and has a pretty similar, he's a tweener in between kind of those two guys, right? He's a little bit more on the Eckler side, but I guess I can see it. But I understand they didn't give him all of the monies, but they paid Austin Eckler to be their guy. I don't think that they're going to necessarily worry about protecting him as a resource because he's still pretty young and all that stuff. And they don't necessarily I don't know. I don't think that they're going to save his tread necessarily, right? I think he's got plenty of football in him, and I think they want to use that to the best of their ability. I know it's counterintuitive to say because they drafted Herbert 6th, but like I think that this is a team that could totally, I think that this team could be in win now mode if it wanted to be.
Okay.
Like they one of the most talented defenses in the whole AFC.
Yeah.
I maybe there's some problems on the O line, but like I think they've got a ton of weapons.
But they also helped fix that over the offseason too when they traded
Right.
for Trey Turner. I mean, that was an amazing move by them. I gotta give them credit for that.
It might be an amazing move. We'll see.
They got rid of Russell Okung. I mean, to me, that's already an upgrade.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think this team could be in win now mode if they really wanted to, if they wanted to be, if they chose to be. And I think win now mode by definition means give Austin Eckler the football.
Okay.
So I don't see it, but I get it. I get your point. So I think my answer for this, almost without a doubt, is Cam Akers. Just
yeah.
LA Rams. I just don't. So the other answer that I have for this, the real scary answer I have for this is AJ Dillon in Green Bay. I'm very nervous about drafting any piece of that offense right now besides Devontae Adams.
Oh God.
Like Jay Sternberger might be the second, might have the second most receptions on that team. Like
Dude,
that is a possibility. Because so that offense, I think probably that offense is like I don't know. I don't think AJ Dillon's gonna poach nearly as much as he could. But I think that there's a pretty decent chance that there's some, Akers is first and second, Henderson's the third down guy, and Malcolm Brown's the goal line package, right? I think that's all totally within the realm of possibility. Obviously this team rushed a shit ton in the red zone last year. But does that change? Do they become more pass heavy now that Gurley's not there? Or does Cam Akers or Malcolm Brown kind of assume that Todd Gurley role and the other one, is there for the early down stuff? I don't know what to make of this offense. No one does, but I think in my head it makes total sense for them to do kind of what I just laid out, right? Either Malcolm Brown or Cam Akers as the early down guy, Darrell Henderson as a third down passing back, and the other of Brown or Akers as the goal line package. And thus making all three of them just absolutely useless for fantasy purposes. So it's just sad.
Yeah, you're spot on there. There's not a single thing you're saying about the Rams running back committee that gives me any ounce of excitement for them to look forward to draft them this next year.
Cam Akers is good. That's the only thing I can say that makes me a little bit excited.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if I believe it. I just say it,
It's he's good, but they also lost linemen and re-signed the same ones they had, and just
yeah. No, I'm with you there. It hurts to say, but So, who do we think will not pass their predecessor this season? And I've got a couple of ways of answering this question.
Okay.
Who do we think's not going to pass them in point totals, right?
Okay.
Who do we think and and who do we think is just not going to see the field at all, right?
Okay.
And presumably of high draft capital, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, one of the two guys that Washington drafted, right? I don't foresee either of them getting on the field, but so who do we think's not going to pass their predecessor in point totals, in rushing totals, and then who do we think's just not getting on the field at all?
Well, my fun one for not getting on the field at all is Darrington Evans, who got drafted by Tennessee in the fourth. So,
So
I just want to get on
need
that.
something better
There's
than
no
that,
way he's
because,
going to undercut that. I just want to say have fun with that. This is my fun answer.
Yeah,
But in seriousness, Zach Moss with Buffalo. I don't see him playing Devin Singletary. I think Singletary's gonna have it locked down. So, I mean, he wasn't super high capital, but there wasn't super high running back capital this draft overall. I mean, they took him early mid of the third round, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, that's still decent capital for a running back, but I don't see him getting past Singletary point wise. He's getting on the field, I think, but he's not going to be a point wise boy.
So for what it's worth, a lot of the stuff coming out of Buffalo is kind of like talking about a committee and like kind of getting that Frank Gore work, and like Frank Gore's workload, if it wasn't Frank Gore, would have been pretty fucking incredible. So like I don't know. I choose to believe it as well because they didn't spend the draft, like, they didn't go up, to get somebody else. They didn't, and they had some picks still after the Diggs trade. They still had some resources to do that. Excuse me. They did wait until middle of the third round, and it's a guy who has had injury history in the past and doesn't necessarily promote that big body running back type of style. So just what they're saying and what things appear to be might not be the same. But at this point, I would tend to agree with you. But that being said, it does make me worried about Devin Singletary. Like, I am not, I think his ceiling got severely capped in this draft.
I agree with that.
Which is a bummer because obviously, like, his ceiling before was the world, right?
Yes.
But
he still can do that even with Frank Gore there.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's because Gore's a god among men, and that's what he said.
Yes, he is the Gore father. But I forgot the question.
Oh.
Predecessor this year. Oh, and so you think Zach Moss isn't going to pass? You think he's going to get playing time, but you don't think he's going to pass Devin Singletary's totals? Who do you think's just not going to? It never is going to get it done. Who's never going to pass their guy?
I mean, the easy answer to me is AJ Dillon.
Okay, AJ Dillon was also up
because you've got like, the fear is the committee because Green Bay's inclined to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Even still, like, that's just a lot of guys back there for them. J.K. Dobbins, like, I mean, makes total sense to me as well. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I see. Yeah. I mean, those are the right answers, pretty much. Now, I'm going to answer Joshua Kelly here, because I think they're just going to roll. I think they're just going to roll with Eckler, and I think if somebody else splits any of the carries, I think they're going to use Justin Jackson. Like, I just don't see them wanting to use that big brooding back. And maybe he like poaches some goal line work, kind of similar to AJ Dillon, right? I think if AJ Dillon is on the field, it will be to steal touchdowns, which sucks, right? It absolutely sucks. But I don't think he's going to be an early down back. I think he's just going to be like goal line package stuff. I don't know. This question is, my answer to this question might actually be, I think the hot takiest one is DeAndre Swift. I think that there is a chance that Kerryon Johnson, they just split the whole season, and Kerryon Johnson, is the better of the two. This is assuming a lot of things. This is assuming that Johnson stays healthy, that they do end up going with that strategy and don't just like anoint DeAndre Swift as the guy. But I think that would be like the biggest cuck of like the whole season that I could see happening. And you can make the same argument for Jonathan Taylor, right? that he just never passes up Mac, and Mac ends up with a higher rushing total at the end. But no, so it's okay. And then, in terms of like who's just not going to see the field at all, I think that there's a chance that Ronald Jones. I think it's more of a knock on Keyshawn Vaughn than it is a plus for Ronald Jones. But I think, countlessly we're told that rookie running backs, the biggest thing that they have to work on is pass protection. And I know that they drafted Keyshawn Vaughn for that reason, essentially. He was one of the best pass protectors in his class. But, this is the NFL. They didn't spend a ton of capital on him. And it's not like he was highly touted anyways. I think that there's a chance that he's just not as good as at the pack at what they need him to be good at.
Okay.
And I think both Brady and Arians are just going to have very little tolerance for a rookie fucking up. I think there's a chance that Ronald Jones realized what just happened and gets his shit together, and I think he's talented enough, between the tackles, etc. It's just all of that kind of, not nitpicky stuff, but like, the stuff that we don't necessarily, almost the intangibles of it, right? And I think he can improve on that. And I think he did last year. Like he didn't get any playing time his rookie year because he was so bad at it, and he, ended up with 1,000 yards last season. So, it's possible to say that he didn't have playing time. So I think that there's a chance that Keyshawn Vaughn just never sees the field. And not never, but he never passes Ronald Jones.
Yeah, that's a completely valid point. I was actually, for our next question, I was going to put Keyshawn Vaughn there. Like, if he even did pass Rojo, I don't think he really breaks even into RB2, honestly. I think that's kind of where he falls for me, primarily. Okay. He's an enigma player. He's an enigma player. He could do it. He could probably do it well. Can he do it well enough? I'm not sold on that.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see it. I think my answer for this one might actually be Zach Moss. And just to like actually say the question like out loud, who will pass their predecessor but still, still not be at least a top 2 or a top 24 running back, right? Yeah. I think that there's a chance that starts off heavy Singletary at the beginning, or like it starts off as like a split type of situation at the beginning, and then it like slowly becomes more Zach Moss, and like maybe Zach Moss becomes the guy, but still, with Josh Allen, like at whatever point of the season that is, plus Josh Allen's rushing abilities, I think that there's a total chance that he doesn't get the goal line work, doesn't get enough passes with Josh Allen rushing all the time, and just becomes kind of a less exciting Devin Singletary of this year.
You want to know my deep dive for this one?
Sure.
Eno Benjamin, Cardinals. I think he can pass Kenyon Drake.
Okay.
Still do it.
I'm
not big on. I'm not big on.
You stopped on me. You froze. You froze on me. You're not that big on Kenyon Drake?
I'm not big on Kenyon Drake. If we're gonna pick someone, I think so.
You're so wrong. You're so incorrect. Oh my god. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing how wrong you are in this.
Hey, we'll see.
We can't do this right now because we're on a little bit of a time crunch. By the way, very shocked at how like on time we are. But
wow.
Yeah,
that's our best time.
Yeah. But at some point, I'm really interested in both of us like making like a top 10, maybe a top 20 in both like our like running back and wide receiver. I think our list will look vastly different.
Yes.
Like I don't know who's a round one running back after Kamara this year. I really don't. Like I don't know. Like I think I've got such a different. Yeah, I don't know. Like so.
Well, if that's your take, then wow, yeah, we're gonna be different.
So who would you say is next? Like I think there's two potential like clear RB7s.
Well, okay. So I was gonna say, where are you ranking Kamara here? Is your thing then? So
Yeah,
he's your RB6.
Presumably, right?
Okay.
I don't necessarily know if I adhere to that. I actually am pretty down on Kamara for a lot of reasons, not just because I'm bitter. But yeah, we're presumably Kamara is number 6. So who do you think's RB7?
Okay. I mean, Josh Jacobs for me. I mean, we
Oh,
did a
okay.
little. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
to me, Josh Jacobs, I could see him going 9 or 10. Like
Okay.
I think 7, 8 is probably be receivers there. But you take your DeAndre Hopkins, you take your Michael Thomas, and then you're like, oh hey, look, here's Josh Jacobs, yoink, or you're like, maybe I want a Julio Jones, I'll sprinkle that over here. But like, I think Josh Jacobs goes in there.
Okay. And so not as different as I thought it was going to be. That's one of my 2 like unorthodox answers, if you will.
Okay.
Him, Miles Sanders, are kind of my 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is really what I'm getting at. Is I'm very high on Miles Sanders. I think Kenyon Drake could be like in the top 10 of the running backs. I'm not. Yeah. Yes, this is what I'm getting at. This is where we differ. Dude, he finished as an RB5 as a Cardinal. Like,
yeah, and he also had somehow like a 35-point game against the Niners.
Yeah.
But
which I don't. Is it a fluke? Is it just instant success? I don't know. Right? It's impossible to say. But I'm a strong believer of everyone who gets away from Adam Gase is better.
Okay.
And I think the Dolphins are still recovering from the effects of Adam Gase. With that O-line being as terrible as it is. So he went from, it's not like he went from like a bad O-line to a good O-line. He went from the worst O-line to like maybe the 3rd worst O-line and instantly got better. Like, that's how bad Miami's O-line was. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I still believe it, right? I don't know if I because we didn't mention Derrick Henry at any point, right? Like, I don't know. There are people who probably.
So Derrick Henry is not in your top 5?
No. Oh, sorry, I'm dumb. Yeah, no. I guess, but he probably is.
Interesting.
Sorry. I was saying top 6 because most of the mocks I'm looking at are like stupid PPR stuff that include Michael Thomas in there. So I guess I meant RB6, but you're right. Probably Derrick Henry is in my top 6, but I don't know.
Very well. I think we should definitely do these lists the next time around because this is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I think so. This went okay, right?
Hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
boy.
Do you wanna start cooking dinner? Or do you want to talk about tight ends? Did you see my question for tight ends?
I did not actually. I didn't scroll down. Oh, there was a last page. Look at that. Tight ends, lol. Overall draft. Yeah, we can go through this real quick. I can start dinner in like 5 minutes ish, 10 minutes ish.
I will ask you this question.
Okay.
Which teams? Who improved their O-line the most? Who improved their defense the most? Who improved their offense the most?
Okay. I'm torn between saying the Cardinals and the Buccaneers improved their O-line the most.
Okay.
I think neither of them got the best offensive lineman in the draft, but I think both of them are going to do significantly better because they drafted a good O-lineman.
I'm shocked. Yeah, I'm shocked you didn't say Giants, but I see it. I get it.
Defensively, it's hard to argue again. The man can play everywhere, and I think they'll make good use of that. My other answer is...
Sorry, it skipped out on that. I'm assuming you said Chase Young, but I didn't actually hear.
I did not say Chase Young.
Okay. You didn't say Washington?
I did not say Washington. I said the Cardinals again because Justin Simmons fell to them.
Yeah. That was also
Yeah.
insane.
I take it you're on the Chase Young train there with the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm very interested in Washington this year. I think that there's a chance that they're not bad. They're still fourth. Like, let's be clear. But I think the AFC can go from being pathetically 8-8 all around the board to like interestingly 8-8 around the board. You know, like I think that there's a chance for that. But that's all. I mean, that's not. So is Arizona like just flat your answer for the defense? Because Carolina drafted so many people.
They
I
did.
looked at the list and I was like, what the actual fuck?
They had a great in taking Javon Kinlaw there.
Right.
Fantastic. I mean, because who's there? I can't remember who's their other inside guy. He's fantastic as well. I can't remember his name. But they're beautiful. I do like Chase Young there. They got Montez Sweat on the other side, and that'll be as rushers.
That's insane. Yeah. Yeah, that is really hard to look away from, to scoff at, right? That's some serious pass rush right there.
Especially in the really offensive tackle, really great, rich environment of the NFC East. Like, oh yeah, we got them. Oh, sure we do.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. I could see Arizona too. I think probably my top two are Carolina and Arizona, but I think Washington's up there for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then lastly, just like offense. Who do you think did the best offensive drafting?
Shit. I might just say Miami, honestly, because they didn't add skill players like that were like super good. They got a great offensive lineman, and they also got Tua. I mean, you got your franchise quarterback, and you got someone to protect him. That's huge to me, at least. I'm a big lineman player. I like that, so that's where I would stand with it.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess I was trying to say specifically for like 2020, like who's gonna be instantly, because I think there's no, depending on how things shake out, like the answer is either Bengals or Miami.
Yeah. Okay.
Long term, right? And like maybe in a weird way, Green Bay. Anyways, but I think in terms of like who just upped their ability, like who almost certainly upped their ability from last year to this year, Denver.
Yeah, Denver. I mean, Judy
insane.
Like you added 2 wide receivers.
Yeah,
that's great.
And a tight end? No, I made that up. But yeah, I think Jay Judy and Hamler as a duo,
with Sutton
in terms of offensive weapons. Yeah, it's insane. I think that's that's the offense that I'm most excited about in terms of progress. I don't know. Is it bad to say Arizona had a really good fucking draft, man? Is it bad to say I'm also excited for because of the O-line? I think Arizona is so much better because they were, not terrible with a terrible O-line, and now they potentially don't have a terrible O-line.
It's like Murray, he can feet actually cool, and then he can scramble too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he can. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, I like a lot of the things that Baltimore did on offense. I kind of like some of the stuff that Pittsburgh did on offense. I don't know, man. McFarland. Sorry, Colts. Yeah,
not bad. Receiver and running back. You can just add depth. That's one thing they've always been lacking is depth at their skill position. So that's good.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay. I think this went pretty well.
I dare say it did.
Yeah. I said an hour 20, and I we're just kind of like, I don't think he's going to believe this. I definitely don't believe this, but maybe he will believe this. But here we are at hour 19 and 40 seconds.
Of what? A minute 22 short of an hour 30. Look at that.
Yeah, well, yeah, but you know, in terms of like the actual recording, we talked for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I guess we could have ended 10 minutes ago if we really wanted to. But I don't know. I'm proud of us. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, we done did it.
Yeah, we done did it. I think this went pretty well.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like the little outline you brought out here. I liked going through these rookies, having fun. I definitely the idea of yours you had that I think we should do our top 10 list of like separate, you know, receivers and running backs, and then also doing like just a top 20 picks overall in the draft. I think would be a fun one as well.
Okay, but like top 10 running backs or top 20 running backs?
Por qué no los dos?
This is what I'm saying is like I think we should do like a top 20 RBs and do like a top 50 like overall pick. You know,
I'm down.
Maybe that might be too. Actually, what if we like? So I'm gonna stop recording so I don't have to like get rid of this at the end.